You ever wondered why the first person in a family faces the hardest battles in life? I mean, the first person to go to university, the first person to build a home, the first person to travel abroad, the first person to break poverty, just the first person to do something that is out of the normal, extraordinary for that family. Usually, that person faces the fiercest battle. Why? Because they are attempting to cross a line that others have never done. They are standing at the edge of breakthrough to a territory that is not familiar in that family. Today, I'm going to share with you two deeply personal testimonies that have opened my eyes to understand the battles of every firstborn. Firstborn in number, firstborn in education, firstborn in marriage, firstborn in financial breakthrough, firstborn in every area in your life. There are those battles because you are standing at the edge of breakthrough and it is not easy. You will attract opposition, you will attract resistance, every power that the enemy can summon to stop you so that no one can cross that line. There was a season in my education life that my education almost stopped at Form 3. At that time, I was sent away from school, not because I hated education, not because I was lazy, but because my parents genuinely were unable to pay my school fees. So at Form 3, I was sent away from school and I carried my bags and my box and I went home. I will never forget the expression on my father's face when I arrived home with my bags. So I stood there before him and I told him I've been sent away because I've not paid my school fees. So he sighed and spoke to me slowly but surely. He told me, go into the house, change from your school uniform, dress in your home clothes, and take out the kettle for grazing. And then he added this statement: in this family, you are the most learned person. No one has ever reached where you have reached. So even if your education ends at that point, you are still the best. That is what my father said. I never gave it a lot of thought. I simply went to the house and changed and I walked out and took the cattle for grazing. My father never even thought to sell those cattle and pay my school fees. No, days turned to weeks, and the weeks turned to months. And before I knew it, it was entirely a year that I was out of school. I remember one of my primary school teachers came to visit our home, and I shared the story. And he went and mobilized parents from the neighborhood into the school, and they raised money, and they were able to raise enough to pay for all the arrears that I had incurred in school and pay for the remaining 1 year in high school. That was Form 4. So they did that and everything was cleared and I was able to go back to school after 1 year of being away from school. The girl that almost stopped education at Form 3 went on to finish high school, complete first degree, complete second degree, and much more. That was the hand of God. God used the primary school teacher to hold my hand as a destiny helper for the next level of my life at that time. And that was not all. When I remember that story, I see how God intervened when I was just at the edge of breaking through. There was opposition, there was resistance, everything just was frozen. But God raised a destiny helper to hold my hand and to take me through that season. So I was able to complete. Years later, after I had completed my university education, I got an opportunity to travel out of the country. And so I started preparing my travel documents and I got stuck at the passport level. So I applied for my passport and I kept going to check the progress. And every time I went, I was told it was not ready. Every other time I went, it was not ready. So fast forward, it came to the last 1 week to my travel. So I remember I was supposed to travel on a Friday. So the Monday of that week, I went to the immigration office. And again, I was told it was not ready. This time, it really crushed me. It crushed my hopes. I felt so defeated. I felt so angry, so bitter. And I remember even in my heart, I resigned. I told myself that this is not for me. I cannot struggle beyond here. And so I turned from the immigration office. And I remember I was walking back towards the bus station to catch a bus to go back to the estate, to the house. And on my way, an idea dropped in me. And that idea was that to pass through the office, some office in town where I had worked as an attaché during my college days. The idea dropped in just in my mind that why don't you go there and say hi now that you are in town? Go and say hi. Maybe you can have some tea or some lunch, and then you can go home later. So I thought it was just an idea as innocent as that. And so I went there. But I didn't know that Evan was intervening, was arranging something different. So I walked to that office, to that building. I stood at the ground floor waiting for the lift. I was with other people there. So I was lost in my thoughts. And when finally the lift came, it opened up. There was only one person in that lift. It was a lady. And this lady was the personnel manager of the company that I had worked for, where I was now waiting to go up. And immediately she recognized me and she called me into the lift. I jumped into the lift and we went back to our office. We sat there and she asked me to tell her how my life was after college, and I narrated my story. From there, everything changed. She picked her phone and called a senior immigration officer. And they talked, and I was told, just go to this office, ask for so and so. To cut the long story short, I went home with my passport that day. And I prepared in the following days with my visa, with my ticket, and I flew to America by that Friday. What was happening at the age of breakthrough? You are trying to do something that no one has ever done in this family. No one had ever gone outside of this country, not from my mother's side, not from my father's side. Remember my education testimony. No one had ever gone beyond Form 3. I was in Form 3 and I was the best. And my father felt even if education stopped at that moment, I was still the best. I had achieved something that nobody had achieved. And so there was opposition. This time, I managed to go beyond that boundary that they had kept put there for me, the limitation. I managed to go beyond that limitation in education. Now I got my KCSE, I got my first degree, I got my second degree. But now I am attempting to go beyond the borders. I'm attempting to fly. Who has ever flew in my family? It was it was the first time that somebody was attempting to do that. So there was a battle. Finally, I crossed that line. I crossed that limitation. But I want to tell you, you may be the first in many things or in many ways, and you will be fought. I want to tell you, if you are attempting to do something that has never been done by anyone before you, you are attempting to change that which has been the norm in that family or in that lineage. The enemy will not allow you to cross that easily. It will be a fierce battle. You will have to summon courage, and that courage is not physical, it is God backing you up. I want you to notice some lessons that I learned. Number one, God uses destiny helpers to push us forward. In my education story, a teacher, I never approached this teacher. In fact, I never did anything, I never made any effort. I never knew what to do. But God used somebody, He inspired somebody to take up that responsibility. So this teacher simply visited our home and wanted to learn why suddenly I had dropped out of school. And so we gave the story, and he went and mobilized the school community. And my fees was raised, and I went through the remaining part of high school without pressure. And that opened the door now. From there, I went to university and I continued with education. So that one was done, a destiny helper, a school teacher. When I was about to fly out of the country and resistance came at the age of breakthrough, just when everything was ready, God raised another destiny helper. I never, I never put any effort. I never got an idea to go and ask somebody to assist me. I used just to get the report and I keep it to myself and I return home. And that day, God saw my hand and he intervened. So you can imagine how the idea dropped in me for me to go to that office and how God prepared that personnel manager to go down at that exact moment so that our eyes just lock. Nobody said anything to the other. And then she initiated the topic. Come here, young girl. Come and tell me where you went after college. And that's how I came to share about where I am stuck. And she had the help right there. Just a phone call and everything opened up. So God uses destiny helpers to push us forward. So your breakthrough could be hidden in people. You need people because when character will make a way for you, where people are concerned, they will remember something you did. They will remember some help you rendered. There is something that will link you to people. So destiny helpers, people around your life, people that you know or you do not know, God will use them to open doors that are beyond you. That is the first lesson. Number two, battle becomes fiercest. Battle becomes hardest at the edge of breakthrough. When you are just about to cross over, when it is just one door, when it is just about to work for you, that is when it becomes hard. It became difficult to pursue education when I was at Form 3. Why didn't the enemy strike when I was in Form 1? Why did he allow my parents to have money to take me to Form 1 and then to Form 2? And then they get stuck at Form 3 when I'm about to complete. You waste 2 years or 3 years and then the enemy brings a stop. Why did the enemy allow me to begin the process of preparing to leave the country, to do everything else? And when just about to get the passport, he closed the door. So there is a time when things get dark, when things get fierce, when it becomes too tough. There seems to be most darkness just when the light is about to come. So that is when God intervenes. God will always intervene when you reach that point at the edge of your breakthrough and things get difficult. That is a lesson that I learned. We are not to give up at that point. When we feel like we have lost, I resigned in my heart when I was told on a Monday that the passport is not ready. The same response I had received all through. It is a Monday, I expect to fly on Friday. And on Monday, the answer is the same. So, if you are encountering difficulties of that sort, if you have experienced a pattern like that, this testimony is to encourage you. The battle is only becoming fierce, and it is a battle. It is beyond you. It is not because you are weak. It is a fight because you are trying to break a limitation, not only for yourself, but for the rest of the people in your family. No one has done that before you. Another lesson that I learned is that God usually waits so that you use all your arrows. You have nothing to fall back to. And then you can surrender and let God have his way. Sometimes God will allow you to run all that you can. And when you have come to the end of yourself, when you surrender, he will begin. Your end becomes the beginning of God. So, do all that you can. Exhaust every energy that you have. Exhaust every resource that you carry. Don't preserve anything. Give it your best shot. Do everything that you can. When you still cannot make it, surrender to God, because your end is the beginning of God. Your end does not usually mean that it is over. It means that your strength has reached the end, and now God can take over from there. And another lesson that I learned is that pioneers suffer differently because they open doors for others. You carry a battle that is not just about you, but is about the rest of your family. The battle will be fierce for you, but when you succeed, the others behind you will follow without a lot of struggle. You may be the pioneer in education. All the adults that you have been able to cross, the people behind you will have no trouble with that. If you break through financially, all those that come after you, they will not fight those battles. Their battles will be few, and they will be seeming to move on quickly and faster than you. If you break through in a ministry, if you break through spiritually, if you break through in whatever area in your family, your battle will be fierce. But those that are coming after you, they will have a walkover. It will become easy for them. And the surprising thing is that the people around you may never understand the weight that you carry. But that weight is upon you because you are the first to do this thing. You are the pioneer. There is a battle that only the firstborns will fight. The first in education, the first in marriage, the first to make money or to succeed financially, the first in every sphere. There is a battle that they fight. And when they overcome, the rest becomes easier and faster for all those that come after them. So I would like to speak to somebody today. Do not quit at the edge of your breakthrough. It might look difficult, it might look hard. I need you to carry this understanding with you that the rest of your family is counting on you. The rest of your family depends on what you accomplish at that very time. When you feel the pressure increasing at the edge of your breakthrough, know that you are only one step to your breakthrough. Know that you have only one step to conquer, to overcome, and to get to what you have been fighting for. And once you have done it, you have opened the door for the rest of your people. So do not quit. When the battle becomes fierce, do not despise yourself. Do not say that I'm not able. Have the understanding. When you carry this understanding, it will give you an impetus to push. It will give you an impetus to move forward, courage to soldier on, and also to invite the Lord to work for you. Because if you look at my two experiences, I never applied any effort. I never did anything as a person, but God was at work. I learned that lesson that when you reach your end, God will come and continue the journey for you. So do not quit at the edge of breakthrough. Encourage yourself. Understand your path. Some people make the path for others. Some people just follow. They find the way has been prepared by others that went before them, and theirs is just to follow. If you are the way maker, you are the path maker, brace yourself and believe in God. Take courage. Refuse to quit, because when you cross that limitation, when you break that barrier, all the others that are coming after you, they will thank you for it. They will have an easier time. And it is better to break the barrier for others to come than to continue shielding them, because they always look at the one that went before them. So may the Lord give you grace, and may you summon courage, understanding that the battles that you are fighting, they are not about you. And there is a God who walks with every firstborn to make a way for them. Things may look difficult, but there is one that is a way maker. If this message has encouraged you, kindly share it with a firstborn. Kindly share it with someone that is the first in something in their families, that is experiencing some resistance, that is experiencing some opposition, just because what they are trying to do, no one has ever tried to do. Some of them are trying to raise a building no one has ever built. Some others are trying to build an estate no one has ever ventured. So they are facing a lot of resistance. There is nothing wrong with them. It is just that they are venturing into a territory that is new. And the enemy is trying to place blocks, obstacles, and limitations to discourage them. So don't bow to the discouragement of the enemy. Don't bow to what is trying to bend you. I need you to take courage and know that you are equal to the task. You can overcome this. And if you keep the trust in God, you will break through. So God bless you and shalom.